Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. Open your wallet to receive money rather than pay bills by fixing your credit and ensuring yourself more income to stay rather than leave your possession. To do so, contact them at www.transparentcreditrepair.com, or you can call them at 862-250-5122 and tell them Heritage Hip Hop sent you and refer you. This episode, we celebrate black bike culture and talk to a rapper who not only rides those wheels, rides those bikes, is about that life, but he also makes music to help tell the story of a man who's been through it all and wants to help change the world and bring balance to the game. You can't mention bikes and mics if you can't talk about SINN. And we talk to SINN today and hear how he's helping to change the game by bringing truth to the light on the microphone and represent his team. Stay tuned, and I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. And on the line today, I have somebody who represents the culture in two different ways. Introduce yourself to the people, please.
Good boy, it's your boy SINN. Let's get it.
You're the Rider King. That's what you're known as, right?
You know it. Still
all right.
It, always be.
And so, having a name like that means you bring something to the culture that was lost. You're part of Black Biker Society?
Well, I'm in the side of a, it's not just like we're an international, interracial club. So it's not just, I don't want to say primarily black, but yeah, I'm in the biker world.
And that's what's up. I got a question actually. You got a lot of noise in the background.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm on the road.
Yeah, you drive, I could tell. All right, cool. So everybody out there, Heritage Hip Hop brings you live interviews. So don't ever think that it's just us giving you the standard. We're going to give you the real. And I wanted to talk to you about that society mixed with hip-hop, because black biker culture and hip-hop is synonymous, because it is the culture where the people don't take shorts and they make sure their voices is getting heard. What makes them blend so well to you and makes you an active member in it and an active member of hip-hop as well?
Well, I walk it, talk it like I live it. I'm a biker. I ride my bike. I make rider music. I grew up in the bike community, so I respect the codes and the rules that go along with that. So I just, game was there before me, and it's going to be there after me. So I just, it's all about respecting everything.
I went to a Comic-Con not too long ago, and it was a biker. I forgot the name of the biker club, forgive me. But they started doing comic books. And they were saying how the point of their book was the bike was the power that gave the writer their superpowers, basically. It made them who they are. How did the bike blend to you and make you even more of the man that you wanted to put into your music?
And it's the bike gives me, it's the ride, bikes are bikes. We also say it's not the bike, it's the rider. And that's where I go and say it's a rider, because no one's going to ride that bike, but me and my bike or any rider, we become one. Like you learn it, like you learn your woman. So you learn that. So that's what I said. What it gives to me is the freedom to be out there, just doing what I want to do, open highway, and doing what I love to do. Anything that you love to do. So that's what it gives me. It doesn't give me a necessary power. It just gives me a feeling that nothing else can give me.
Word. See, the reason why I asked that is because there's nothing like being in control of a vehicle and just going. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you hit the open road, that's when you can be the most thoughtful, the most mind strong. It's like nothing in the world can touch you. There's just you, your vehicle, and your mind. And that's where you get a lot of your sharpest and most philosophical your most philosophical production done. Is that how it goes for you when you get into your mind?
When I'm in the road, I think of everything, and that's when I'm the most creative. That's what I love being on the road.
See, that's how I'm sorry.
Right now, I love it.
See, that's how the Most High works. Because see, when the Most High gets you to connect with the land that He gave you, and it is written that He said, conquer the world, subdue it, and then repopulate it. It's like the world is there for you to learn, to navigate, and also to give back. When you're on your vehicle, it seems like the world is now opening to you. What do you usually take away from a ride that makes you feel free or secure within that ride, that you know you brought something positive back within it?
Well, one, I want anybody to do is just get into my destination safely, for one, because you have so many hazards stuff to deal with out on the road when you're riding. But for me, like I said, it's the freedom, the adrenaline rush, the fact that I'm on that iron horse, like cowboys in the back in the day. So I'm exploring the land on tubes, or whatever vehicle I am. So I'm out taking in sights around the world, and that's what I love, is just seeing what God has created. The beauty in cities, running into beautiful artists, creative people, and that's what I love. That's what it brings to me.
Facts. And just like riding your vehicle opens you up to the journey of life, music also is a way to bring people into your journey through life. And as a musician who's been in the game for years, it's very important for people to understand not only you have a story, but you have experiences to be told. What is the most meaningful story that people will get from your music that will make them sit and listen with awe when it comes to your sound?
Well, it's 100%, like I would say, it's all 100% me. It's how I feel, everything I'll stand behind that I put out there. But also, it's a journey. Like I said, my new single, Put Your Seatbelt On. I want you to get in, put your seatbelt on, and I want to take it back to feel-good music. When music moves people will feel good about having it growing in life, having a relationship, having that ride-or-die chick or that ride-or-die guy, somebody being by your side, being there. So that's what I want to get it back to. We have enough with hate and everything. So I just try to make a conscious effort on this album. Like the first 6 songs is seeing what message I would leave behind. So that's what I did on this.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry for that. That's my phone bugging out. I understand that. And you know what? The funny thing about life is when we tell our story, some people hear it and some people feel it. What's more important for you, to be heard or to be felt?
Well, here's what I think. I think words are more powerful, but they're also, it's like a text. You won't get the feeling from the words. The same words won't mean the same as a phone call. So it's got to be both. You've got to think about it all. You can't just pick one and have the other, because if you're making songs that are your words, your feelings, your emotions, you have to be able to convey that. That's what an MC is, move the crowd. So if your words don't move someone, the beat doesn't move someone, then they got to be both important.
That's fact, because there's people who have made songs that when you hear it, you're like, you know what I'm saying? And then there's those beats where you could bob your head to it, but the words just don't hit your heart. You know what I'm saying? Yep. What makes a complete song to you? How do you know when you have delivered it?
Well, I try to sit back and critique it when I can say that, I did my best. I gave you my best. And whether you like it, understand or catch it later, I would salute any artist who puts themselves out. I'm not going to give you a halfway effort. I can say it's my fault. Responsibility, the end result, how it's received and how it's delivered is my responsibility. I need to deliver that message like a quarterback. He doesn't all, he throws touchdown. He's a winning quarterback, but he doesn't throw touchdown passes 100% of the time. So I got to deal with the numbers.
Okay. So then let's go into some of this history. When did you begin in music, and how did you find your voice within it?
Well, coming up, my father had a studio. I used to sneak down, and he wouldn't let me in there. But I would keep sneaking down. And when I finally got down there, I just liked the vibe, the light, how the food was. That attracted me. So then I wanted to learn how to do it. It became like Curious George. I needed to know how it worked, So, in school, I liked studying. I got into all kinds of different studies of different things. But words, poetry, what I found was a great outlet. So I started getting into that. Then hip-hop evolved. And, playing a dozen. Then it became the back. Then it became making instruments and learning how to make it. And then I realized that when it said music business, I realized it on the music, but really I focused more to learn the business of it. Say behind the scenes, what was behind the scenes. I always looked at Wizard of Oz. They tell you to never mind the man behind the curtain. Well, I'm the type to always look deeper. I want to know why that man's behind the curtain. Why is he pulling the strings? What makes him qualified to be there? And how did he get there?
All right. See, that brings me to this, because the people who put their all into the learning are the people who lead the movement. Since you began doing music, what did you lead that made you go, you know what? Not only can I do this, but I'm right to do this. When did that come?
It came like different ways. Like I started battle rapping when I started beating the neighborhood. Then I started going and traveling different cities. I knew, okay, all right, I can do that. Music-wise, is when I started writing songs for others. It let me know, okay, I can do it. Because I didn't want to be the artist out front. I'm a very private person. I didn't want to put myself out there. So that's why I didn't want to give it up. And I always knew I could do it. Like I could watch people's reactions to what I wrote, and then I was like, okay, because I think about what I write, how I write it, so that's what let me know. And then there's confidence when I had to engineer. I learned that part of it, mixing, mastering, doing graphics, video shoots. I learned the business of putting out albums and records first. And that's just, I just wanted to learn. So the more I was exposed to it, the more I wanted to learn. So that's what made me do it when I had people requesting me to do it or asking me to get on the song or write this for them. Okay.
All right, so let me ask you this then, because that's very interesting that you said that, because the thing about music that I think people take for granted is that to be proficient does not mean you do it. It's that you live it. Because anybody can rhyme 2 words on some music. That doesn't make it a rap. That doesn't make it a hip-hop song, or it doesn't even make it a rap. It could be a nursery rhyme, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying? But when people come to you and they build off of what you've made, there's nothing like having somebody co-sign your vision. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I see
and
it.
I mean,
I look at that when you're saying it's a great feeling when I look at some of the people that I've inspired, who I've been inspired by, and I watch people, emulate some of the things that I've done, or don't do some of them when I tell them this is the hard way of doing things, there's better ways, and this is life lessons that I learned. And they learn from that. So they don't do the pitfalls and make the mistakes that I did. That's a blessing in itself. That's what I love about this now.
So then, let's take it to another degree then. Part of knowing that you've made it is getting a crowd to co-sign your sound. Tell me what's it like to go to SINN's live show, and being that you have opened up for many people in the industry, your show has been seen by masses of people. How was that live show? What is it like, and how is it captured by the fans?
It's a journey. Like I actually bond with them. Like, I look at it this way. You paid your money. I'm going to give you a show. You didn't come to see me stand and just walk around. No. I'm going to take you on a ride with me. If it's a song to move your heart, like I have a song, I apologize to my mother for some of the wrong that I did. Or if it's something to get you motivated and want to ride. I'm an MC. I'm going to move that crowd. You're going to get up. You're going to do what I want you to do. And it's not where I say it is that one, but the song, the energy, what I put in. If it didn't give you that feeling, when I'm inspired by movement, riding, stuff like that. So if it doesn't make me move, then it's not going to make anyone else move. And we try it out on different people beforehand. So I understand it's like basically knowing yourself. You know, you get Jay-Z, Eminem, you get a 50 Cent, you get somebody. They know what their show's going to be. They know what the lighting, they know everything about that, what the stage looks like, their sound, how the mic is keyed up. That comes with practice. So over time, everything you get better with. So it just came from that. You're gonna basically, whatever set I designed, whatever I want you to kind of experience with me, it's not what I want you to do, it's what I want you to experience that night. So that's what I want you to take away is get a show. You don't have someone that's gonna be lazy. Like I didn't get out there with the fans. I didn't come and give you a show. I didn't give you a story. I didn't forget my lyrics. I didn't have a weak sound. It wasn't just, I'm just here to do. No, I'm grateful to have fans, and I'm grateful for you taking the time to appreciate my music. So I appreciate every last one of them.
And you show that in many of your videos. One of your videos that I've seen was Nod Your Head. Nod Your Head is like the song where it's not only about the bike, it's not only about the lyrics, it's about getting the person to feel like they are a part of the visual. How do you come up with those visuals, and why is it important to always make songs that include the listener with the experience?
Well, here's a tip I have for artists. Like, I really look at it like a painting to me, and when I do it from the beginning to the end, I have to paint a picture. So I look at the music. What is this beat telling me? What would I feel? And then the emotion starts. Okay, now I'm feeling that. How do I convey that message? Okay, if I'm going to give them a vision, I have to paint pictures with words, imagery. So what image am I painting? Then if I can put it to video, I've already got the concept when I'm writing it. When I'm recording it, I've already seen it. Like, it's weird that I tell my team, and they know this now, I see the end before I do the beginning. I work backwards.
You work backwards. See, that's a skill not a lot of people can't have, because a lot of people don't even have vision to see where they're going when they do things. You know what I'm saying? So, and understanding that you work backwards, tell us about one of those experiences that you had that made you create a song. Because everybody goes through something in life. What experience did you already finish that your music helped you tell a song about?
Okay, I'll take the one, I Apologize. I made that song for my mother. And if you listen to it, I said, Mama, forgive me for the dirt I did. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a grown man. I was just a bad kid. I apologize for that because I thought about it. It took me years to look at all the, I was in the street life. I was into a lot of different things. I caused my mother a lot of heartache. I didn't look at it as a little kid. It's when I did my bid and I didn't look at, my whole crew, the people that say they're going to be there for you and do things for you. Well, that commissary didn't come in that way. That phone time didn't come in that way. I realized the only person there, my mother was there sitting in that thing, taking care of me, my family members. And when I came out, that's when I realized my mother was there for me, and she did the time. You know what I'm saying? I did the bid, but she was serving the time with me. So I had to apologize for that. All the trouble and everything that I got into, court dates. My mother was there for me. I'm going to stress the strain that I put on her. So it takes a grown man to realize that he apologized for what he did as a kid. So that's what one of those that came from that.
I really appreciate that song because even in your video, that's your mom sitting on the porch with the pink shirt on?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's when you realize that for the average person who just thinks that, you know, people are just putting songs together for entertainment, sometimes this stuff is medicine. Because not only are you getting things out off your chest and off your spirit, you're also healing somebody's life, and you can also influence somebody else to heal through your message as well.
Well, another one I'm proud of, and since we're talking about that, is Tony's Missing Her Baby. If you go out there, it's available. Well, all the sales from that go to a nonprofit fund that's still searching and pays for a private detective, because that is a 100% true story. There's no Amber Alerts for anybody above the age of 18. That's a story about a mother searching for her girl and still searching for her. She was taken away. She's been looking for 2 years, for 3 years now. Believe it was taken in sex trafficking. The mother still has a phone number. But that song opened up that case. The police had not had anything on it, had not done anything, and pretty much closed the case. And they opened the case for that song, and that song is a real, true story. The mother was robbed. She was pulled over by the cops for searching for her daughter for having too many posters on, and she's still searching for her.
Wow.
So we're still searching for Keisha Jacobs. So that was one of those ones people don't know about, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a pain that I don't even think music can help you understand, but yo, we pray for positivity out of that situation.
Like I said, how can you still smile when you just lost your child?
Yeah, that's a hard one. And understanding these things, we know that music is a pathway, like we said, towards healing, and it's also a pathway to building towards better things. Let's talk about. Let me get my notes ready. Let's talk about something that's very important when it comes to making music, and that whenever it comes to the music, you have to have a message. We have this no frontin' song out right now, correct?
Yeah, it just got released. Yeah.
Now, in that song, you're talking about standing strong for the person you believe in because you want them there. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about how you no fronting like ODB. And ODB didn't front on his love for Wu-Tang or hip-hop. He was front line with it until the day he passed away.
Well,
why was it important?
There's a lot of Wu-Tang references around that family. So yeah, on the first verse you'll hear a lot of Wu-Tang references.
All right. My question when it comes to that song is, why was it important for you to make music where a man stands strong for what he loves and who he loves, when this culture seems to celebrate, especially in the mainstream, doing whatever with whoever, and not really showing loyalty, commitment, and support?
Exactly, and that's what got me to, I'm going to be, not to say one of the first artists, but I'm an artist that secured myself to say, yeah, I had songs that glorify that hip-hop lifestyle. We all did. But for this album, Know the Name, Know the Difference, the first 6 songs that you got, Put Your Seatbelt On. Now it's no fronting. I'm looking at where you're going to end up in the next one, Take Your Medicine. The reason why I say Take Your Medicine on the next one is people don't like what's good for them. Medicine doesn't taste good, but you may not get it the first time. But the second time, and there's messages, and what I put out there, those are vibes I'm going to get back. So I have to be constantly aware of, I wanted to do something different. So Know the Name, Know the Difference. It's going to be split up. You're going to get what you're used to per se. But the first 6 songs are something that I stepped out of my zone and thought about the messages that I was putting out there and wanted to be comfortable with saying, yes, I have a strong lady. Yes, no matter if a dude, and like I said, would put your seatbelt on. I want people to get in their car, put your seatbelt on, do no fronting. Take your medicine. It's always set up ahead of time. Each song is set up for that. It's for the next one. So by the time they get to the 6th song, and they're like, well, since switched up a lot, I got you thinking. Then I'll get you back to writing and bobbing your head. You know what I'm saying? I'll get you back to that. But I'm going to leave you something where you can say that's a complete album. And I gave you a little bit of something for everything.
Yeah, even with no fronting, the cover art, with you holding the hand, or there's a lady holding your hand looking over the water, that's setting the pretense of a personal message as well as a hopeful message. And the culture right now seems to be going through those changes, especially in the wake of the social inequality and the fight for justice from the inner city against police brutality and against the political powers that are separating and hurting people. What do you think is the responsibility of an artist to now talk to those things that's going on in our society in their music?
Well, here's what I look at it with me as well, and that's what I said. We do have a responsibility. We have a responsibility because we have freedom of speech. We have a lot of people that listen to us. You know, you think about it as an MC, if we say, put your hands in the air and wave them, they do. Put your phones up. All right, go do this. Well, going to vote, going to have social conscience, saying it's okay to have being married and staying with one lady or a man, whatever you want to be, you know what I'm saying? Going and having a legal hustle, doing that. That's okay to do these things. We ought to celebrate that. When you take it back to the days of Motown, look at the music that we had, you know, I'll take one. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. If you took that one phrase from that one, you learned something. And that's what we need to do as an artist. You have all these things, you know, you got shoot, kill, murder. And of course, I'm guilty of making some of this kind of music. So I don't sit there and say I'm judged and I'm hypocritical. No, but I had to sit there and think about when I went in the studio and when I made this project, what do I want to say and what do I want to do different? Because I have my own lane. I never follow what people's vibes are. Their weights. I make my own. I make my own lane. So that's what I wanted to do, have the courage to say, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my seatbelt on, you know, thinking that's a competition. And then I'm going to do no front with it. I'm going to take my medicine. I'm going to learn what I've done wrong as a man, what women have done wrong to me, and get us to that. So now we can build relationships. How do you build a relationship? You have to have a foundation. You have to work together. You have to understand that you can't point your fingers at someone without three pointing back. So working on self is the hardest work to do. And then once you work on self, you can work together. And that's what anything.
Being that you hail from Virginia and you also make your home in Michigan, how has those two places helped define your message, define you as the MC that you are?
Well, I've been pretty much around the world. I've got to go to different areas from out west to overseas to stuff. So whenever I go somewhere, I like to experience their culture. I like that at like a zoo or whatever. You're there to observe the animals, but I like to look at it not in the zoo, but I want to observe the habitat, leave it undisturbed and appreciate it. Take what I take from it, like a buffet, and then go about my day. Leave it that way. Leave it undisturbed so somebody else can enjoy and appreciate it.
Part of a foundation is not only knowing who you are, but giving the truth. And people are not only affected by the truth, they're attracted by the truth, and you can change lives with having the truth. Not a truth, the truth. And the truth of the matter is you represent your music, you represent your lifestyle, and there's others who work with you. Tell me about the other artists you have in your music family.
Well, shout out to MJ. She does a lot for me. And my wife, Kira, shout out to her. D Menace, it's one hell of a artist, friend, personal. You know, so you have Angie Maserati, Mr. Flavor, and they all bring so much. They all bring so much. So, like I said, they're just a one big family. Like, we all are just creative and driven.
And your squad is the Devil Advocates. That's what it's called?
Yes, indeed. Devil's Advocate, indeed.
So let's talk about the video Let's Go. Let's Go seems to be the one where you want people to know that you're there and you want them to move by having the experience of your music. What does Angie and D Menace bring to SINN that makes SINN a better artist?
A lot. Their work ethic, their commitment, their skill. I mean, when you recognize people that have just as much passion, drive, you know, like recognizes like. you know. So we just, it's almost like just a team we just form together, and we're all allowed our space, but we all come together in that space. It makes magic, man. The whole team.
For everybody listening to this interview, this is Karev from Heritage Hip Hop, and we're talking with SINN. And his YouTube page is SINN TV, SINN TV, where you can see and hear some of his music. If you like the music that you hear and that you see, please, purchasing is good. I mean, purchasing is great. Streaming is good. We rather this artist be great than good. So if you find something that you like, put the money down and make sure that you support the movement and you ensure yourself and him more growth to give you music, because purchase power is what builds the culture in our community. You agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And with that being said, everybody, let's continue, because I have a question for SINN that is very interesting, but very impactful. One of the songs that you made that really, really tells a deep story is "What I'm Going Through." Why don't you speak on that, and let's crack that one open. Oh, as you see, I go through your music. I'm not doing singles only. I go through your stuff.
What I'm going through. That was a song that I'm sure a lot of people experience this. It's when you have to go inside yourself, bro, and you feel the weight of the world, stress on your shoulders. You just, no one experiences it when you're head of a team, head of an organization and everything, and everyone looks at you for that strength. You don't show it. You can't show any chinks in your armor. So I had to go deep inside myself, and I realized other people are going through that. So, you know, so here you want to know what I'm going through. Here's what I'm really going through. And like I said, you got to let the fans in. You know, that's one thing my wife told me is I got to let them in. And he said, so I let them into what I was going through.
See, that type of music, like I said, especially the morally responsible music, is what's going to balance the culture out and make it better. Because we've gone from the hip hop, the hippie hip hops, to the heartbeats, to Run DMC, to the streets. We went from edutainment and street knowledge to gangster rap to chronic rap, southern hip hop. Even now we got the emo hip hop. And when the mainstream got it, it made the music, it made our culture look a certain way, to even the racists actually use hip hop to try to destroy people of color. And then to have socially responsible music to fight against those idiocracies that they come up with. I thank you as an artist for putting something out there that can be used to say, look, that's what they give you to make characters of us. This is what we give you to teach our reality. So I thank you for that and being that artist. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, bro. I appreciate you guys giving us time and airplay.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do. I gotta ask you this, because this is really something that comes from what I'm going through. It goes from the Warrior featuring Rita. And it also goes back into the I Apologize video. The thing about SINN that really comes across is, remember when Biggie said, it was Machine Gun Funk, how there's rappers trying to rap something, but they don't believe them because the energy's off. Jay Electronica said the same thing. That the energy's not familiar, I can't feel you. When somebody hears your song, the energy that comes from it is not only reality-based experience, but it's also the guide of somebody who's trying to help somebody see what's there before they turn that corner. What is the burden of being a person who knows the pitfalls and is trying to tell people what it is, knowing that some people aren't going to listen anyway? What is that burden for you?
The burden is, you see someone standing on the ledge, or you see someone going through a fire, and you got the burns from that fire, and you tell them, don't touch this. But as being one of those ones that you're familiar with, I was hard-headed once too. So I got those scars that got burned from going through that fire. So I understand when artists do it, because they're hard-headed and they want to do it. But those that want to take it and listen, that's ones that get that payoff. And I've done my job. I was like, okay, I'm trying to leave something. Why should I have someone go through those pitfalls? And like I said, I'd like to congratulate anyone that has the heart to put themselves out there, no matter how good or bad someone thinks they are. They put themselves out there to be judged. So that's just courage in itself. So I applaud them for that. You know, I don't go to an artist show if I'm going to go look at a show and like, oh, that was a whack show. No. Did you have the heart to get on that stage? Did you put the time in? Did that guy, he had to took the time enough, or that girl, whoever, to present something to you that was their art. Appreciate it.
All right. So with that being said, everybody, once again, I want you to understand that we're talking to an artist that not only lives what he talks about, but he's also saving lives by making the music that he does. So please, give everybody your social media and let them know how they can contact you and get your music.
Well, all you have to do is go to www.hmdmusic.com. That's HMDmusic with a Z.com. You can get everything, man.
All right, and with that being said, everybody, we're going to put the link on the YouTube page. And remember, make sure you subscribe to our Heritage Hip Hop YouTube page and become a subscribing member to www.heritagehiphop.com, where we feature your future favorite artists right now. And with that being said, sir, we're going to go into the rapid fire questions. The rapid fire questions are not yes/no questions. These are questions to show more of your depth and your understanding of the hip hop culture so that you can relate to the fans and show them how serious you are about the life you live. Are you ready for this?
Let's get it.
All right, so the first question is, what song or album perfectly describes your life and it's made by another artist, not yourself?
Nipsey Hussle, Grinding All My Life.
Okay.
Lap.
Okay. That's a big one right there. Because that song means a lot. That's an anthem. So I know a lot of people.
Song on the bike right now. That's my favorite song on the bike right now. If you see me going over 200 down the highway, I salute to Nipsey.
With that being said, I want to ask you about that depth in that song, because how does Grinding All My Life relate to the song Hold On, which is a dope video, by the way?
Grinding all my life. Sacrifice. Undebated price. So, you know, so I relate to that one, you know what I'm saying? So, and with Hold On, that's the same way, you know. My team, if anyone knows me or whatever, I've always been that one that's been there. I mean, my word means everything. So if I tell you I'm going to be somewhere, if I'm going to do something, if I don't show up, people get nervous. And when you get that kind of rapport with people that you're known for doing what you're supposed to do, you got to tell people, hold on sometimes.
Word. I feel that. Next question. Part of being a hip-hop artist is knowing when you want to prolong your catalog. So we remix songs in the culture. So we either add a new beat to an existing song, remake the song with the same name, or add people to the song. My question to you is, in hip-hop history, what's the greatest remix ever made?
Greatest remix ever made. Oh, my God. You stumped me with that one. I'm going to say Hot Boy remix.
Whoa, okay. All right. That's you first person ever said that on the platform. Okay. Why you pick that one?
Because I'm a biker. No one expected Missy to come out rhyming like that one.
Okay.
No one ever expected that one. Nas. It's a Virginia thing.
Hey, I ain't mad at you.
You know, now, if you look at I think one of the greatest collabs on Whitney remix is got to be Victory or Wu's Triumph.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's I can't say that's what you feel. That's what you feel. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You've been featured on a song, right? So there's times when somebody will call you to get on a song, and you'll destroy the song. Shout out to the Menace, because you're on the introduction. It's his song that you're featured in. And like we said, there's people who get on a song and can actually steal the show. So I ask you, as a hip-hop artist, who has the greatest feature in hip-hop history?
I would say Eminem.
And what song do you think it is?
Renegade. You can go with that. The one he did with Drake.
Okay. You're the first person to put that up there, the one with Drake. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Eminem, if you knew the backstory, Eminem came out, and if you listen to that song and hear the build-up, Eminem smashed that song.
Yeah, he did.
Smashed Renegade.
When does he ever not smash the song?
Yeah, you got to give him his props for what he does.
True indeed, true indeed. All right, yeah, we have a story behind Renegade, because everybody knows that Jay-Z was really the feature, but I digress. It's not even the point. The next one I want to ask you is about this. Going back to bike culture. It's funny how when mainstream society touches something, that's when everybody wants to give it its attention. When Sons of Anarchy came out, and everybody wanted to focus on on bikers, especially black motor clubs. You see what I'm saying? If someone wanted to know the history of black motor clubs, where would you tell them to start, and how would you tell them to respect the culture?
I would tell them, if you ain't about it, stay out of it. Get a bike first.
All right.
It'll find you. If you're built for it, you're built for it. If you're not, stay out of it. That's how you respect it. If you ain't true to it, don't do it. If it ain't in your heart, don't put it on your back.
Facts. Do you find it disrespectful that people would put on the leather and now you have a club, they just did it for fashion?
Yes, I do.
Explain that and tell me why.
Because there's people who live this life, die for this life. There's people that paid their dues to earn what you're able to do. So for you to just go out there and just to rep that, you didn't put the time in. You're not respecting that culture of somebody else who actually earned that, put years into it to get where they're at and to get that. So that's what it means. It's like people with ranks in the military. You started out as a private, but they respect when you're a 5-star general. Well, you have to go through the ranks. You have to put your time in. So for you to go and grab something and just throw it on your back because you're able to buy it, that ain't going to get you respect.
Facts. I'm with that. Next question. Like we talked about respect, getting respect, a lot of people and MCs get that respect from being on features, right? And when you're like you said, 5-star general, people come to you out of respect to help build the legacy and even add to your own, correct? So, SINN is a 5-star general in music. What would be his dream track to make? And this is what I mean. Who does the beat? Who's featured on it with you if you want features? And look, dead or alive, no hesitation, no limitations. What would be your dream track if you could do it?
I would have Chill Beats make the track.
Okay.
I would have Chill Beats make the track. I would feature Lauryn Hill, Sade, and Nas.
So you're going for the heart on this one, huh?
Hey. Along with Dave East.
Ooh, okay. So let me ask you a question. Is Lauryn Hill singing or rapping?
Both.
Wow, so Sade and Lauryn Hill with vocals from SINN, Nas, and Davies.
Yep.
And you kept it home team with Chill Beats. Shout out to Chill Beats.
Okay.
See, that's loyalty. So I salute you for that, because I had asked people some questions, and they had people who's in their own circle, and they wouldn't even mess with their beats, which is crazy. So,
man, that was my vibe. I mean, he inspired some of the things. Without his beats, some of the songs you wouldn't have. So, like I said, his beats speaking. I can call Chill up and say I'm in this type of mood, and he'll send me back exactly what I need.
Word, and that's what's up. That's the connection of being in the squad, and I respect that. As a now, this is another question that's kind of biker related, but it is hip hop related. How do you define unity in hip hop as opposed to unity in the biker society?
I would say you're gonna have in the biker society, you're gonna have brotherhood, and that's what most people want. So you have people that just because they love bikes and they do what you got to do, you'll have people always look out for you. As well as unity in hip hop, you have unity in hip hop, but we're so programmed that if someone else make it, we can't sit there and clap for them. We will clap at them, but we won't clap for them. So that's the difference with some of the unity. They don't understand that we're able to control our own destinies. You know, if people would have thought about the music and having their masters making their own company, and like I said, shout out to Barry Gordy, because Barry Gordy had that drive and that vision to do it, and that's one of the ones that I would pattern myself and say, that's one of my idols. So that's what I said. Unity in the bike thing, with unity on anything, is getting people to realize that you're not in competition, but if you're a movement, you know. You're a movement by yourself, you're a forcing together. Shout out to Fabulous.
All right. Yeah, I think Black Bike Weekend has always been one of the premier things where you saw unity. And in hip-hop, we used to have those Jack the Rappers. We used to have those things where people came together and we had the best of the best from all coasts come together. And I kind of miss them days, and I hope that those days come back, especially in Jersey, because Heritage Hip Hop is trying to make that happen. And, you know, for our people worldwide, it's good to have a unified force when you're out there. Unfortunately, unity within melanated people is the number one fear of the country. So says J. Edgar Hoover, and we already know how those stories have progressed. So going back to the hip hop question, I ask you this: we talked about the feature, we talked about the remix, we talked about the song that defines your life. What is the song that you made that defines somebody else's life that someone told you about?
I would say Tony's Missing Her Baby.
Tony's Missing Her Baby.
You know.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a deep story, so that's a real one. I respect you for being a commentator when it comes to life in your music, because so many songs are about fantasy that reality seems to be lost. So once again, as a man, I'm going to tell you that I thank you for doing what you do. And as a man should say to another man at times, I'm proud of you for being the person who took your lane, because no one else would have done it the way you've done it. So please continue to walk your walk the strongest way that you can, and be sure to know that people are going to and will and are supporting you for being that man that you are. So salute to you one more time.
I appreciate that, man.
All right. So here we come to the last question of the interview. This is the most important question I ask everybody on their first interview. So if you ever want to come back, doors open. Heritage Hip Hop is not an industry thing. This is a legit connection thing, because we support the culture, and we do not have a prejudice to who we talk to as a part to anybody. We believe that hip hop is not music, it is God within you, and God gave you a story, and you have a right to tell your story. So with that being said, here's the last question. Unfortunately, one day you're not going to walk on this earth anymore. And before we continue, may the Most High bless you, especially in COVID and everything going on right now, may the Most High bless you so your life is not cut short at any time, and may you have abundant of blessings and many years to come. First to say that. But there is going to be a day where you're not going to walk the earth. And you're going to be, let's say it's in Michigan, right? And there's a 1,000 years from now, there's like a gigantic earthquake, right? And or something happens, a building falls, and then a child walks by this rubble, and they find like a weird box, and the weird box is called a laptop, because 1,000 years from now there won't be any laptops. And they open up this laptop, and SINN TV is the first thing that appears on that laptop, and this child or these people who experience this phenomenon hear your music. The most important question I'm going to ask you in this interview is this: what is the legacy that you leave behind that made the world better because you did music and you lived hip-hop?
And would say my legacy is the drive and determination, you know what I'm saying, where I did it and just off sheer determination and drive, and I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't stop, you know, and I wouldn't let anybody tell me what I wouldn't do and what I couldn't do. And I had to have somebody do it for me. Became, you know, self-sufficient. I got tired of playing for people doing it for me when I could say I got the same gifts, God bless me with the same talent to do what I wanted to do.
So with that being said, all right. So with that being said, everybody, if you take anything away from SINN, take this away. You can do it. You just have to believe to do it, that you can do it, and then want to do it. And in doing it, no one can define what you've done but you. So just believe in yourself and be your best, because no matter what you give out, someone will always hear, and they will always pay attention, even when you think they're not. With that being said, this is Karel from Heritage Hip Hop with the Writer King himself. And you cannot mention hip hop or mics and bikes and not mention SINN, correct?
Yep. How you gonna mention bikes and mics and not mention SINN? You can't.
And with that being said, we say peace and we out.
All right, let's get it.
We thank you for tuning in to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This episode was brought to you by Transparent Credit Repair, the superheroes of the financial literacy and credit repair world. Open your wallet to receive money, then to pay out bills. And to do so, fixing your credit will help you ensure more income and money to use at your disposal for travel, for leisure, for family, for pleasure. To fix your credit and ensure yourself more money in your bank account, please contact Transparent Credit Repair at www.transparentcreditrepair.com, or you can call them at 862-250-5122 and tell them Heritage Hip Hop referred you and get something very special in the process. This episode brought a hip hopper that believes in doing right, and music is the way to lead that charge. And we thank SINN for his contributions to the hip-hop culture. I ask you to go check him out, check out D-Menace, and check out Angie and their team and see what they have going on. Hip-hop is not always about the negativity, and we're changing the narrative, especially in today's world. But if you can only make music that's violent or music that's about hurting somebody, you are not true hip-hop. You're a clown. And all that clown stuff has to stop. With that being said, we thank you for listening. If you would like to hear more, please go to our website and support. Our website is www.heritagehiphop.com. We also have Heritage Hip Hop on YouTube for all videos and past interviews that we have done. You can see our extensive history of bringing future faces to the current generation of hip hop now. We also have a store if you would like to buy any apparel. Our store is www.storefrontier.com/heritage hip hop for shirts, hoodies, face masks, and other things you may want to show your support to the heritage hip hop movement. Before we get out of here, we'd like to give a shout out to the people who help make this thing possible. Shout out to our virtual assistant. If anyone needs virtual assistance, which is making your social media pop and letting people know that you're out there, please contact Fatty's Place at FADDYSPLACE on Instagram. Our marketing, promotion, and placement genius is a former MC who not only rhymes when he wants to, but he makes decisions behind the boards. His name is Fire Jaws, and he is the proprietor of Wildfire Marketing. And you can contact him on Instagram at FIREJAWS, Fire Jaws on Instagram. I'd like to give a shout out to two people who help the team in many ways. One is Lex Diamonds of Diamonds Entertainment LLC. That's DIEMENZ Entertainment LLC on Instagram. And Big A, who runs the Big A Show. I'm the co-host of that show, and that show is crazy and coming very soon. The Big A Show Season 1 is on YouTube at AHDAYAR. That's IDR on YouTube. For everybody out there listening, we thank you for being supportive and listening to not only the many interviews that we do, but respecting the many stories that are being told. Hip-hop is not about music only. If hip-hop truly reflects God within us, then everybody has a story and everybody has a right to be heard. And with that being said, we thank you for listening to us once again, and we say peace, and we out.